and you're not trusting just yourself.
Yeah, I'm not getting the specifics like move by move. Walk 10 steps, go left, 2 degrees from the tree. I'm not getting that kind of specifics from Yahweh. And that's okay. I'm all right with that. And it's a lot by feeling. Do I feel comfortable with this? Does this feel right? You know, am I getting a connection? He's not looking at me going, yeah, this doctor next Thursday, 2 p.m. and here's the address. I'm not getting that.
That's because we don't expect him. I mean, okay, people that live like that with the father have like either they just don't understand how relationships work, and all the relationships are like that, or they got a jacked up understanding of what this creator creation relationship's supposed to be like. And so you don't expect your mama to tell you every detail. Matter of fact, you get a certain age, and I know this because it happens in our house, right? All the time. Mama gets frustrated when she has to lay out every detail to her teenage boy of what needs to happen.
Sure.
Like, I've
Absolutely.
trained
My
you, I've
mom
shown you
did
how to
too.
do this. I don't even need to talk to you about this. Just go do it. Understand
Some
like,
general advice would be nice. I'd like to
duh.
offload some of that responsibility, and I would if I could, but I don't think that's the way that he meant for this to work out. Like, I don't think
No.
that's the best way. I don't think it's beneficial. And
How are you
anybody can
supposed to rule the
follow
world?
instructions.
How are you supposed to rule creation alongside him? If you're constantly asking him, how do I tie my shoe?
Yeah,
So you gotta he's allowing you to walk in circumstances to make choices. I think what we're afraid of inwardly is the mistakes.
sure.
I
Consequences
mean, for some
suck.
people, hmm?
Yeah, consequences suck. They hurt. They hurt. But
Yeah,
I'm 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 learning that that's the right way too. That's why it's set up this way. That's why we're here. To fall on our faces, to scrape our knees and get back up. And be okay with that and recognize that and full face it. Like that sounds depressing and fatalistic in one respect when all I did was seek to avoid consequences that hurt. If my goal is pain avoidance, life is not the place I want to be. But that's how I tried to live for a long time, just making decisions that were, how do I avoid pain? How do I avoid bankruptcy? That's my investment plan. It didn't work.
yeah.
I've hit rock bottom a couple of times. All right, so all the planning to avoid pain just makes the pain all that more surprising when it hits, because it's like I did things to avoid this. Now I'm not only hurting, I'm freaking surprised and demoralized because I thought I was doing things to avoid this.
So when
And
looking back at it, do you look and say, the choices I made at the time were phenomenal. They were all the right choices. I listened to my intuition,
yeah,
and everything that I planned, none of it came to fruition, even in spite of the fact that every decision that I made was like the family was in agreement. So now let's go. And it's like, but let's not go revisit and go to the past, but let's look over the shoulder and say, what choices and decisions that I look back and man, geez, I knew that I shouldn't have. But you don't stay in the land of coulda, shoulda, woulda.
Right.
But so where's the balance?
take notes.
The thing is that so how much pain does big love want us to have individually in our lives? Like, so just enough pain so we keep moving forward, like the carrot and the stick? That's not who big
Well, that's
love
a good
is, man.
question. Yeah, well, I think the issue there is want. Like, does he want pain? No, that's sadistic, masochistic, like all the bad ones. Does he want pain? Do I want pain for my child? No. No, but I recognize she's in a world where she's going to deal with it and the pain will make her stronger.
Maybe the chastising sometimes is that he loves so much, we're going down a wrong path and he lets us go down the path because of his loving kindness, even though he knows we're making a bad choice, because he lives on multiple timelines, because he sees the best in all of us. What the unknown is the choices that we're going to make from today on out. As it's getting really dark out there. It's getting really bad. Okay. So what
Yeah.
are you going to do with your life and your family? How are you going to behave?
Well, best
See,
I
that's
can.
the thing. We keep coming back to the same thing. It's relationship. And that's the beauty, because everybody on the call has their own unique relationship. You can smell it,
Right.
you can see it, you can hear it the way each of us speak. And it's not a contest. Okay. I mean, it's just, you just know who's like on the journey, who's kind of like somewhat stuck, like we talked about with, I would almost, when we talk about our brother and our companions that are kind of stuck in the old wineskin, some people call it the church, whatever the deal is. You know what? I mean, Big Love is going after them just like he's going after Muslims and Buddhists and everybody else. There's 8 billion people. Okay. So the fact that you think you're the oracle of Big Love, well, you've been running your mouth for 5 minutes, and it seems like we can all tell that you really don't have much of a relationship, but Big Love still loves you, but you keep reading about him. I mean, that's kind of really where it is, right? So those that are stuck in the church that have the passion, that are like, have been brainwashed, need a new brainwashing with revelation and truth. So I'd almost like to talk about what is the church, what is it going to need in the days ahead? Because we're all pretty in tune with giving words of encouragement. You can do it. He's in you. You're in him. This is like, here we go. Here's Joy Fest. Now is beautiful. Now is beautiful.
Yeah.
Breathe. Relax. Meditate. He's here, right here on the call, right now, all around us. He's all around everyone that's listening live. Well, how do you know that? I can't tell you exactly how I know, but I know, and my 3 companions will confirm that that's what's happening. Because we're energy, vibration, and frequency. It's all the real deal. Get into the frequency of who you are. Talk to your higher self that's already seated in Big Love. Make that connection. Take a risk.
It's going to be okay. You'll be all right.
It's going to be
Even if you're not.
Even if you're not.
It's better now.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, dude, no, listen to this. Here. Listen to this. Here.
And even if you're not going to be fine, isn't it better to just exist thinking you're going to be fine until it's not fine? And then when it's not fine, then you can just fucking handle it then. But there's no sense to ruin right now, right?
I mean, it's funny that it's such a ridiculous source, to find that, but it's like, you're going to be okay. So my question would be, what is the purpose of a prophetic word about turbulence? I'm not trying to pick on Joyner, but hey, he brought it up. So we put it in the arena to talk about. What's the purpose? What's the purpose of a prophecy that says, things are going to go bad in the past and what we have record of? So Noah was like, hey, your feet are going to get wet. You gotta get in the boat. Yahweh sent a message to him.
I'm sorry, I'll let you finish, but I feel like the easy answer is, and if it doesn't include it, then you have to question the prophecy or the prophet, maturity of the prophet, is that it comes with a hope end cap, meaning, hey, it's going to get bad, but listen up. Our Father's good, and he's got a way through this. So when you come into this bad time, remember what I said. This is what Yeshua did with the disciples. Hey, I'm going to get killed. I'm going to get hung up. But listen, it's not the end. And you're all going to get tossed to the wind and you're going to run. But hey, I'm going to bring you back. So remember these words. Comfort yourself, right? He tells them, comfort yourselves when this happens. Comfort yourselves. That's the way prophecy should be.
Is that what Joyner's doing?
In regards to, well, I think that's the way it should be for those who are in him, right? For those who are out in the world, the prophecy is a wake up saying, hey, bad stuff's coming, guys. If you don't get your crap in order, this is what's going to happen. There's there's delivery, but when we're speaking to, I'm just using examples in scripture, man, the patterns of the prophets of the old time,
right,
patterns of the prophets of the new times. It's the big issue for us as sons should be latching onto the hope. Okay, latching onto the truth that is ours. For those who are perishing, the prophecy is for them, is a wake-up call saying, hey, this is going to happen. But, and the New Testament prophecies should always have a hope on it, even for the wicked, because they need a hope. They need a ladder to pull out of this as well.
Right, that's the
If
good
a
news.
prophecy doesn't have hope on it, then it's not valuable. It's just a noisy gong.
And you
The
gotta
world can
and then
prophesy
explore-
too, all that same stuff.
And then just to add on to that hope, bro, now go deeper. Well, hope. So I got to just wish really hard? Is that really hope? No, it's a confident expectation of good in my life, in my family's life, in my city's life, whatever I desire for the planet. That's you. It's just a perspective of energetically shifting your brain because you're tethered to the one you're in relationship, and you don't have to worry about outcomes. I'm not worried about how dark it's going to get because it's not going to. It doesn't have to touch us. We choose.
Right. That's right.
Okay, so but it does. It does touch us.
It touches
That's
us.
fact. That's
Well,
fact.
it touches the core energetically of who we are, and circumstantially, it's going to touch all of us. Where
Right.
we live, how much money we have in the bank, how
So
much
circumstances.
we have, who made smart decisions, who made bad decisions. If you haven't figured out, malevolence and corruption has done a pretty good job consolidating all of the treasury below the sun, confined within 13 families. Been going on for a really long time. Whatever, conversation for another day. Enough
It's out there.
is enough. It's over. That's what nobody is understanding. It's going to get really dark. There's a shaking. Okay, who's doing the shaking? I'm asking, who's doing the shaking? Big love or the adversary? Is it 60% big love and 40% adversary? Let's talk about it.
Both.
Hey, which one? Hey, Noodle, which one is it? Yes.
Actually,
No, is it big love?
I mean,
or
Yahweh
is it
sent the
adversary?
flood, but he also let the accuser rock Job's world, and so it happens both ways. You know, prophecy about shaking. It feels pretty cyclical. I don't know. I've had a short life, and in my lifetime, I've heard doom and gloom prophecies with a a back pat of trust Yahweh, you're gonna be okay. Like, yeah. So I'm pretty harsh on the prophets, but maybe I shouldn't be. You know, Joynard, is he saying, yeah, it's going to get turbulent? That is not a
No,
new
let me
message.
qualify that. This
Could
is
we have a
this is not Rick
synopsis?
Joyner. This is the new pastor. This is just an email I received.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I got it this
Turbulent
morning. I
times
hadn't read
ahead
it yet.
from Chris Reed. And listen, I'm not having a go at prophets either. I love prophecy when it's used as, guess what? He's in you. You're in
Yeah.
him.
Well, I guess what I'm saying is I
Tina,
don't
you're
love
fearfully and
prophecy.
wonderfully made. That's a different type of prophecy versus words of knowledge. And this is I've received a prophecy that was supposed to take place this year. It didn't happen. And so, well, did I not have the faith for it? I just okay, somebody wants to give you a word. I'm like, okay, if it happens, great. If it does, not a big deal. No skin off my back. You know what? Next time, don't be giving mature sons words of prophecy.
Well, I'm telling you, look,
you get
how
away
many
with that
times?
stuff to the immature,
you-
but be careful what
Well,
you
yeah.
say. You're held
Right.
accountable to the prophecy. If we're prophesying, especially those in leadership, I got news for you. I'm not having a go at any. All we're going to do is keep loving each other
Well, of
and
course.
functioning in love, and
Yeah.
we're going to push back on the lies of the adversary, and we're going to continue to develop strategies on how we can help all of the companions on the planet, which there's 8 billion people. Let's get our minds off of family and church. We're in this together. 8 billion people.
No,
Right.
nothing against the prophets, right? I'm not like you said. I'm not having to go on. I love them. Whatever, do your thing. I don't
Yeah,
care.
do you do you?
Yeah, but as far as a receiver, I'm just being honest. I don't love the prophets, especially the modern day ones. I don't. How many times will I let a weather app lie to me before I uninstall it? If it says it's going to rain and it don't rain, sooner or later I'll be like, I'm not going to listen to that anymore. I'm just being honest, like just being vulnerable. Like I want to believe the prophets. That sounds great. Wouldn't that be freaking awesome? We got a bunch of people and it was got to tune in. Hey, dude, what's going to happen in the next year? I got this thing. Great. I can plan ahead. I like that, you know, but I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it. Like there's been so many, the world's going to end prophets that the world didn't end. Like, well, okay, why do I listen to you anymore then? What's the reason? Now, what you talked about, it's like, well, as long as the prophecy ends with, but you got this. Well, you know what? I don't even need the message about turbulence coming. Just tell me I got this. That's the message. That's the message for today. Well, you got this. Yahweh's good.
Got this.
He loves you. Some
Good
crap
word.
may happen today,
Good
but
word.
that doesn't mean he doesn't love you. You may lose something precious to you. Doesn't mean it doesn't love you. And
Good.
there's some gift in that.
Right.
Yeah, like this, like
That's good.
the whole. I'm not saying don't tell me the bad things are coming, but that's not the point. It doesn't matter because
Right.
he's good when it's good and he's good when it's bad. If that's
Right.
the truth,
That's right.
then that's the truth. Period.
That's right.
The extra information is so inaccurate.
Right.
I don't need it anymore.
Right. I don't want it anymore.
I don't want to be foolish though. If they got good info, I want to pay attention. I don't want to be
Yeah.
ignorant. But
Dan-
Well, how do you
Always,
test that,
man.
right? How do you test the good info is by this is the part. People just take the prophecy and then they run with it. Well, did you go talk to Father about it with it? Because there is this thing called like
get a second
Goshen
opinion.
where the original opinion for your life, meaning like Father causes the rain to fall on this guy and his neighbor does get nothing.
yeah,
Right. So like Mack truck hits your neighbor 5 inches away from you. You just feel the wind. Life is stranger than that, man. I mean, so we could see, all that prophecy come to pass on everybody else but you, because that father might have a different class.
Psalm 91. Psalm 91.
So here's the thing. It's not about, and for you and for me, it's not about whether the prophecy is right or wrong. It's what I hear. I take to the Father and say, is this legit for me? Should I do anything about this? And if not, just forget it. I mean, I don't search out prophecy anymore. One, I don't need a man to tell me what the Father's saying to me and what's valuable to me, because I'm
Right.
talking to him every day.
Right.
So again, the prophecy isn't for you, Eric. It's for those who need a wake-up call. If
Right.
you're already awake and you're already in tune and you're already connected to him, he's going to tell you where to be, when to be, if you're going to pay attention to that. Generally, prophecy is for people that are not listening up.
Okay, that's a good humility check. You're right.
It's generally for
I actually-
people saying, hey, I'm a child. I don't know how to read the signs and times. So I'm growing. So in the meantime, give me this prophet who will raise me up. That's the whole point of the gifts in the New Testament, is to mature the children so that they're like Christ, which means they know and hear and feel and sense and walk and breathe like their Father does. So they don't need another man in between them, because they know intimately what Father's thinking and what he's going to do 10 years from now.
That's good.
That's what a prophet's supposed to do, not stand on some rock and call out judgment upon the world. That's New Testament prophet. That's the gifts given to the church. So when you've crossed the threshold and you're maturing as a son, you're like, okay, prophets are good. Go speak to the little children. I'm hooked up to the Father. He speaks to me face to face like he does with Moses. So I don't need prophecy anymore to tell me what doom and gloom's going to come down. I already know it's coming. My older brother, I said it in Matthew 24, what's coming. The cycle of humanity is constantly revolving. So I know doom and gloom's coming.
So
Doesn't
here-
matter. Not touching my house, because I am under the grace of the Father's house.
That's it right there. That's it right there. So we seem to think, oh, turbulent times are coming. You know what? The innocent are going to get caught in the, even though we're protected, Yahweh may want us to go through some stuff so we can get through that shaking. Well, guess what? It's coming to your house. You're opening your mouth and you're prophesying what you're coming up with your own solution, because there's darkness in you and you're fearful that you've been hiding in secret because you haven't been playing, you've been playing church and you haven't been in relationship. And you can feel that. You can feel that. You don't listen. The thing is it doesn't matter. Doesn't so and listen, I'm getting prepared. And again, we've had this conversation. Don't want to get political. Whether you vote or don't vote is everybody's business. I'm just saying Boston C is going to vote because I'm going to vote. I'm not telling anybody who I'm voting for. It's nobody's damn business. Okay? And that's it. And whether there's an election, I can't control necessarily the outcome. Yahweh's putting kings in, he takes kings out. Do you now? Here's the thing that I have to think about, and I'm like, I'm not even dealing with the voting integrity. But the point is, if everybody is hoping and wishing for certain individuals to get in and get out, and that's where they're getting their strength, I got news for you. Whether you're a Christian or not, man, okay, darkness. You're opening doors and windows because you're not in the relationship. We've got time. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if there's going to be an election. Doesn't matter what's going to happen in this country. Although we all need to stand as one in unity and say, you know what? This corruption and this malevolence and this decadence, it's over. It's over. Yahweh is saying it's over. And we don't have to worry about how it's playing out. Just trust him as it's playing out and spiritually prepare this house. Get above the sun, stay under the shadow of his wings, live inside of his right hand, be seated, go into it, and never come down from that place ever again. When you decide to come down off your mountain to do stuff below the sun, and Tina would say, walk on the earth. Nancy Cohen, we walk below, but we live 24/7, 365 above. That is the only way that we're going to be unscorched. Otherwise, yeah, you might get swept up into some, but the Lord will work all things together for good. But this is where choices and decisions. Do I go left or do I go right? Where do I pitch my tent? Just all you have to do is intuitively dial in to your spiritual gateways. Just make good decisions. Take out your trash every day. Love big love. Practice loving big. And you won't get swept up in any of the stuff. True story.
And even if you do,
the prophet,
you'll be okay.
Yeah. The prophets of the Old Testament, I think, still have a place today. And let me restate that. The model that you see demonstrated in the OT still has a place today, but it's a dirty job. And here's why. Because to do what they did means to go out into the byways and the highways and to the marketplaces, not to the church. The church isn't the one that needs to receive these words unless they're no different than the world. Then that's a whole nother matter. They go out to the byways, the highways, the marketplaces, the industries, and they stand there and they tell them, hey, I've been sent by the Father to say this. And they're going to stand, and I say it's a dirty job because they're going to get ridiculed. They're going to get spat upon. They're going to get stoned. They're going to get the black eye. Because if you look at what Father told Amos to do, and Nehemiah's, and Ezekiel, and Isaiah, they didn't have the accolades, didn't have the praise, didn't have the pomp and circumstance. They didn't have the popular votes. They had a brutal life, to be honest, among their brethren, among the world. They were spit upon, killed. I mean, Yeshua talks about it. You guys strung them up. You treated them poorly, right? That's the dirty job of being a prophet to the world, which is a different place of operating than the gifts of the New Testament that are laid down by Paul for the church, right? So you've got two different examples, two different models of being a prophet. And for those who act like the prophet of the Old Testament, then if you're going to the church to preach, to speak this prophecy, and doing it so that you can get accolades, then you're really neither one. Because the one on the prophet to the church is to steward the children into being my Christ. The prophet to the world is the one that's going to be ridiculed and hated and beat up. And if you don't wear the scars, if you're not doing that, because really, prophet to the world isn't really concerned about message to the church. It's concerned about direct oracle word from the Father to mankind saying, get your stuff in order or else. That's the kind of word and message. And I think Father still speaks that today. He still loves, but he still sends out a message from the throne, guys. Get your stuff in order because I'm coming to clean house. He still speaks that stuff. That word still goes out. But it's not a job that I want. Anybody want to sign up for that?
No,
I
I'm
don't feel
good.
like getting brutalized for that message.
If you knew that, I mean, if you think about, well, think it's about some of the other gifts. If you were getting, I mean, if you're getting like Jeremiah, I mean, a burning in your bones, and you have a word, and you're getting like words of knowledge, and you're getting these downloads, and you're supposed to, and you know you're supposed to go do something and go to Nineveh and do something, and you don't go, that's on you. I'll take your gift if you don't use it. So I'll be prepared. Whatever's on our scroll, all we're looking to do is just be accurate, fulfilling our
Right.
scroll, which is unique, and it can morph and change because there are, again, different timelines depending on the choices.
Right.
This is why it comes down to living in the now. Now is beautiful, down to the thought life. How do you live like that? Dude, what are you doing? In practice. I mean,
Right.
you just your thoughts are spiritual God thoughts all day, throughout the day, no matter what you're doing. So you can pat your head and rub your belly you can do that. You can multitask. It's amazing. This technology, the body, the soul, the spirit, how it all is designed energetically. You know, it's crazy. It's like, how come we weren't taught this? Well, I don't know. But all I know is we're all waking up good. This is just good stuff. I love it. And this is
I don't want to stop.
this is Isaiah 61 stuff. We're talking Isaiah. We get to set the captive free by saying, listen, this is just my journey. You do you. I'm just telling you my story.
Yeah.
This is what I see as work for me. I'm not trying to win a gold medal. I'm just trying to help you get on the path to help you out, because your life is falling apart like a $2 suitcase, and you've been doing this for 20 or 30 years. So just maybe, people love you that are giving you words of wisdom, but you won't receive them. Frustrating. Yeah. But then Big Love doesn't want us to be frustrated. He's not frustrated. So it's like, then where is this frustrating coming from? I don't know. I'm working on it. Right?
Yeah, and I don't want to stop
living from the inside out. And if you're living true, all your dirty little secrets. Okay, here's the deal. If anybody's doing stuff, you're watching porn, you're doing too many drugs, you're drinking too much, okay? You do it in front. Yahweh is looking at it with you. He's not judging you in the way that you're judging yourself. He wants you. He knows your heart that you're trying to overcome, and you can't. You're addicted. He doesn't love you any less. He's trying to come into your world. But you want it because your body, listen, everything I tell you, it comes out of experience. You can overcome it all. So everything that we do, be real and authentic, naked, walk around every day with clothes on, but walk around naked at the same time. Do you know how to do that? Think about it. So I'm totally transparent. I saw he sees everything. Yes, he does. And still loves you the same. It's crazy. So lean into it, because by leaning into that energetically, your life, you turn around and then that energy comes towards you. You're waiting for something to like this energy. And he does do that. I mean, the Lord's sovereign and can show up however he wants. It's not, but I think practically, I can speak confidently out of the things that I've been learning over the years, right? Making a lot of mistakes. But man, I can tell you, when you get over 60, you're going to live your highest and best life. It's awesome. The future's, because we're living in the future right now, today. But you have to have a plan. What are you doing today? How's everything? Family good? Everything, circumstances good? Well, we get this, that. Okay. That's the short game. Are you overcoming on your short game? If you're not overcoming on the short game, I mean, it's going to be challenging to get to the next level, because overcoming the short game gets you to where you're supposed to be 3 years out, or the end of the decade, or 20 years out. Starting to put those kids in college, this, that, and the other thing. What's all that like? What are your kids? What's everybody being exposed to? What information are we taking in below the sun? I mean, there's a lot to talk about, to
There
try
is.
to help people. But at the very least, guys, if we're the EMTs, I'm like, you know what, Lord? My dad always said, you need to be a good example for your siblings. My sister was 4 years younger. I was young, just bad, whatever. It was just, I never connected with my siblings. So I was never really that good example. And it bothered me because I didn't I didn't do what my dad asked me to do. But anyhow, you know what? My spiritual dad's asked me to, hey, dude, keep doing what you're doing, but set a good example. And that's my world. What can I do to, you can't, I mean, you wanna go higher. You wanna be, you don't have to be a better son. What do you mean by all of a sudden, if you do more good things and less bad things, that he begins to love you more? It doesn't work like that.
Yeah,
It's
David.
you
David's a
begin
good
to
example
love
there.
you begin to love you more, because he's in you, and he's loving you in you through you, because you're leaning into him. And then you'll begin to love yourself, and you'll begin to heal. And every opportunity, every circumstance that takes place, we talk about QRST, the quantum. We have the entanglements and the quantum assignments every single day in our life. People have things to do today. We've got appointments. We're going to be having conversations. Those are all opportunities for us to practice. That's all it is. It's just, be intentional. My son, listening to my son, he's having a conversation. I'm dialing, I'm talking to the Lord. And yet, do I need to say anything to my son right now? No, just listen and just love on your son. And when you stay there and I don't say anything, I can feel the resonance that he's feeling, the love that's in the room. And he's like, Dad, I need a hug before I go. All right, son. And it's just like, it's those little things. Those are the engagements and the entanglements. When you're practicing love, that's how the darkness and all of the stuff is not going to come any near us, because it doesn't have any authority, and it has no power. And your light gets brighter and brighter, and your authority and the boundaries, and today is the 8th, right? And it's the life's boundary and fence. We are the boundary. We are the fence. Yahweh's the fence. We're inside of the fence. We're under the shadow of his wings. And he's giving me revelation that, again, we can live inside of his right hand. So I'm getting,
Right.
I'm
And you're doing
staying
that daily.
Yeah.
Right. You're in a daily mode with that. That's a daily interaction, a daily established position that you have. And so when the torrents of the prophetic doom and gloom coming down the road happens, so what? Because I've already established myself in the confidence of the goodness of my Father to take care of me regardless of circumstances, because I've had many storms in the past year. Right. So what's this? What you got? Right. Those who don't have that daily establishment, this is where they freak out about the future.
Right.
Because they aren't practicing living in the storm on a daily basis. They aren't practicing what it means to get what you need to get through that. And that's why we say get to FaceTime, right? That's why we tell you build a relationship with the Father, because what you sow in today actually makes you successful tomorrow. And what you establish, and because he's always working out that junk, right? He's helping you cut the ballast and makes you float or sink based on the torrents. He's helping you get rid of that stuff that's got a ability to be hooked into fear, greed, worry, anxiety, right? Those things that allow those future issues to hook into you. He's cutting those out every day when you face them, so that when those things try to grab a hold of you, when doom and gloom comes, ain't nothing to grab a hold of,
Right.
because you're already clean. And you're able to walk right through that stuff, right through the storm, and not be touched by, because they can't hook into anything, because you've already been cleaned by the Father, and your confidence is solidly affixed in an immutable, unmovable point in your vision.
So when you get
That's what
that,
I'm learning.
when you
Like-
get that revelation, that's not the end of the story. It requires the individual to do something. So let's get real.
Like what?
Depression, anxiety, hate, envy. Okay.
Remove
Those
all
are
that.
living, malevolent entities that
Fear.
occupy humanity in the soul realm. Is everybody listening? We feed them. That's not who you are. You can choose to be depressed, or you can listen to what Jeff just said, know who you are in the Father. I'm in you, you're in me. You will remove the depression. You will tell the depression no more. And too many people are waiting around for, Papa to come remove it. No, he wants us to do it. And that's the responsibility and the hard work that a lot of people don't want to do. They'd rather pop a pill. I'm trying to get off. All that. And listen, I get all that. Understand they've been there, done that. I get it. So I get it. But let's speak truth to each other. So what are you saying, Boston C? So what I'm saying is you're not depression, angst, hatred. Those are malevolent entities that have been messing with your stuff, and we choose to feed them by the thought life. Or you can say, you know what? So here's the deal. So this all sounds great, right? I know what fear and hate and anger and those emotions. And Noodle, you talked about it earlier. I felt like fear was coming on. Okay. Yeah. So at that point, I'm not saying that you're not going to feel that emotion. I'm not saying you don't feel that, you do. But when you sense something that is not pure and honest and just and lovely and of a good report, and it's making you go, then stop reading the article. Stop looking at the movie. Stop drinking as much. Just turn around and begin to I got to think differently. Yep. For Dr. Caroline Leaf, for 21 days, develop new habits.
Right? That's how I get rid of ants in my house. I don't try to kill them. I stop feeding them. And they're sending out scouts now. I stop feeding them. They're like, yeah, there's some stuff, right? I'm like, nope, no, there's nothing for you to eat. I'm extra clean now. There's not a speck on this sink every night. And they try that. They test it. I just had some dishes in the sink while we were eating. I came back and they had found the knife. I'm like, oh, all right, you got me this time. I'm not going to carpet bomb my house to kill you. I was going to convince you this ain't a place to feed. Well, it's the same thing with that stuff in my own heart. It's not a place to feed. I'd be angry at it. Honestly, with my shoulder, I felt like an animal in a trap. I was just pissed at it. And, but no, don't feed it. And that's really, really good. I'm learning to live with that. It's not about insulating me from circumstances. It's because then when circumstances hit, it's so surprising. It's such a, if I believe I'm going to be insulated, and then when something sneaks through, it shakes my whole world.
So do circumstances control us, dude, or do we control circumstances?
Oh, well, it depends on the morning. But circumstances come. But I'm learning to.
Those are engagements and entanglements, though. That's the cue. I think we can control. Is it not a true story that we can create our own reality?
Sure.
Out of our thoughts.
It might take some practice, though.
But whether you practice or not, our reality is created energetically out of the thoughts that we think.
Yes.
That's a true story.
Yes.
That's a true statement. So either we cooperate with the technology or we don't. So we have quantum engagements and assignments that come to us every single day. That's separate from the good decisions that we should be making every day to create the best possible environment, to have the most positive circumstances and outcomes, and then you'll deal with the flat tire and you run out of gas and your kid ran away. Those
Right.
are
Right,
outside
right.
of the circumstances, because you've been doing that for so long. You've created your own reality on a certain timeline.
Well, and then
Right.
also
That's why
it's
Paul says, do everything as you're doing unto the Father, unto the Lord. I mean, that's a mind shift. It's
Mm.
saying, crap, I got a flat tire. Why couldn't I mentally cause that to stay inflated? Well, don't
right.
even worry about that.
Yep.
This is now the circumstance. There are certain
Yep.
things like our bodies may be led away in cuffs someday in the future, and we
Sure.
have no control how to keep our bodies from, I mean, there's supernatural things. Father could make you miraculously send an angel and get you out of there, sure,
Yeah.
or he might not,
Turn
depending on
invisible.
the circumstances, what he
Yeah.
wants to do, his glories and play here. Regardless, even if your body is now no longer under your control and someone is forcing you to move in a direction that you don't want to go, you still have the ability to do it under the
Yes.
Father
Yeah. What
and
do
to
you have for
twist
me
it
here?
and to find the glory in the moment and
Yeah.
make it
Yeah.
a sign and a wonder.
Yeah.
Because in here, they have no control. They have no control of your heart.
Right.
You
Right.
have full control of that. And so that's
Right.
that's the idea is, so, okay, you're going to make me go to prison. I'm going to do this as I'm doing unto the Lord.
Hmm.
I'm going to find the way to be glorious before my Father, even when I can't move my own body in the way I want it to go, because you are forcing me to go this way.
Yeah.
And I think
And
that's
even
the difference.
the technology, think of it like a scientific. If you're an analytical technology, you're going to prison for 20 years for something you didn't do. Sorry, my nephew, it almost happened, and
Yeah, it's happened
we
plenty.
did some stuff, and guess what? Oh, amazing. So the accusation, all the charges were dismissed. Yeah, but that's big love. But
And there's value in that.
yeah,
Walking through that. There's so much value. Like
well,
I'm
think
learning
about,
that directly.
well, think about it. I mean, if you go to unjustly going to prison for 20 years, you have a serious choice to make. Because I'm thinking, Lord, do I? Because I know energetically, you know what? I'm going to go into this thing for the glory, like Jeff says. But man, it's like because energetically, if you focus on the injustice of what's happened, and you're going to do
It'll
that for
eat you up.
20 years, you want to carry that energy in the cell with you every day?
That'll kill you.
You're going to have a lot more engagements with Bubba, and you don't want to do that. You want to hook up with the brother and doing the Bible study and leading the Bible study and having healings. And you're going to be doing that for 20 years. But that's the kind of thing that it is.
I mean, that's the
Yeah.
story of Joseph, man. I mean,
It's
that's why
amazing way
Joseph
to
is in
live.
there.
It's
That's
an
why
amazing way to
that's
live.
captured, so that we are given an example of the route, the shadow of the valley of the shadow of death. See, David got it. He's like, I have to walk through this valley. There's no way around it. I've got to go through here. So I'm setting my heart in my Father, and it's a shadow. It ain't touching me, because your staff and your rod, they comfort me even through the valley. Right? That's a framework that you choose to take on. It's not something that's forced upon you. You choose to say, no, I don't. It's a shadow. Fear ain't touching me. Death ain't gonna catch me. Yeah, you're right. People are dying left and right next to me, but it's a shadow to me. And I choose to remain under the cover of my Father in this, so that he might receive the glory and I might receive the reward. And that's the framework that you have to choose in every circumstance. Right. And I think that that has to be practiced.
It
To be
does.
honest, it doesn't
You can't.
happen. Like, you
And
can't
it
turn
doesn't
that
work in
on.
theory. It doesn't work in theory. I can tell you right now, I trust him differently than I did a year ago.
That's
A year
good
ago,
word.
man, I ran out of money, hit the wall, and I'm like, what the freak? Because I had been trusting him the whole year that this abundance would come, and it didn't. It didn't come. It didn't come. I trusted him. I felt pretty good about it. I felt really strong about it. We had celebrations in this house. We made financial decisions, right? I'd made financial decisions to bless my daughter with stuff, and myself too. Like, I'm not going to live like I'm a pauper because abundance is coming, and then it didn't. And then birthday, Christmas, celebration, all that dried up. And I had to walk through with my daughter this year for her birthday. Like, we can't. can't do anything. That freaking sucks. It sucks. It sucks to be in a civilized first world country and doing work. We're looking and trying and scraping, and it's not working, right? And so that was challenged. My faith that abundance would come was challenged. So I'm like, okay. I'm going to trust you that you're going to solve this. And this whole year has been a practice of, okay, I'm not going to freak out. And then I'll freak out. But I'm not going to freak out. I'm not going to freak out. I'm not going to freak out. And feeling the weight of it, like every day, getting up knowing I have bills coming and I don't know how to pay for them. And I'm increasing my debt load, which sounds terrible, right? It didn't even sound Christian. Oh, no, man, nothing. And here I am borrowing against my house to live. Dude, making bad decisions. I mean, you evaluate it. Dave Ramsey would probably shred me a new one for the decisions I've made in the last year. But I wouldn't trade it. I've learned something. I'm not the same person I was a year ago. And it works. Because in the last month, the problems that have plagued me in the last year are getting overturned. And I've had incredible, like not being able to give Kat something. You know, Deanna blessed us with stuff and was able to do stuff for Kat. My mother-in-law blessed me. Other people have blessed me. Lisa has blessed us. So much has come in, and I'm like, okay, I'm thankful for that. But I made bad decisions, people. They blessed me. I've made bad decisions. Made them. There's no logic. I can tell you, I've made bad decisions, and yet, in the process of all that, I'm not the same person I was, and I'm seeing him do it. And I have to check, like, hey, is it because Nicole's got this part-time gig, it's going to pay all the bills, and the water's getting? Is that why? The same question Yahweh asked, or the accuser asked about Job. Hey, is he just happy with you because you're getting him what he wants? You're blessing him. I have to think about that. Like, no, I know that's not true. I believed he was going to solve these problems, and he is. Okay. I didn't go run out and panic and get a job bagging groceries and leave my daughter alone for 8 hours a day. Like, that's not my position. The more I talk to him directly, he's like, I know that makes sense, but I don't want you to do that. I'm like, hey, but you know what? It kind of satisfies my desire to not go back into that system. Like, I don't want to go. I don't want to get a bag, grocery bagging job. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. Nobody wants to do that. So, like, okay, I'm going to trust you, and I'm going to make a decision that kind of satisfies me on a selfish level. At the same time, it's like he's oh man, I'm losing steam here on the putting this together. But I'm thankful, and I'm testing this, and it's working. He's solving the issues.
Right, and everybody does this. There is nobody on the face of the earth that's not walking those same steps. I think sometimes we feel like we're in a fishbowl. Everybody else is succeeding in everything they're doing, and we're like struggling and everything.
Yeah.
And that's not reality.
No, it's not.
Everybody is on the same playing field, dealing with the same questions, the same heart issues. The difference is the varying responses to their Father's invitation to come up here, to improve, to change, to transform, to transfigure. And the spectrum is wide and deep to the response of man to that opportunity, right? So everybody's got a choice. Everybody's in that position and make a choice daily, every moment, to move towards divinity or to brutishness, to move towards the lesser, right? Yeah. And we're just saying, hey, sucks. Your neighbor's also saying it sucks in their own grime and their own issues. The difference is, are you saying yes into I'm stepping into transformation, or am I going to sit down here in the muck and just grind and complain about my circumstances? And that's the difference. That really is the difference. There is nobody that's sitting out on the side saying, "Hi, y'all suckers. I got it easy. I figured this out." From the richest to the richest to the poorest of the poorest, they're all facing the same heart issues, same issues at hand. Yeah. The circumstances might be different, the details might be different, but that's minutia compared to what the big picture is. He's after everybody's heart. How are you going to respond?
And good
And that's
circumstances don't yield a healthy mindset and a healthy heart. That's just fact. I mean, trust fund
well,
babies are dealing with
pressure
trauma
is what
and
causes
depression.
beauty to happen, right? Pressure
Yeah.
and change and uncomfortable circumstances, what causes people to transform. When life is easy, you're not tested, you're weak. Nature proves that out. You can pick a point in nature and it will prove that out.
Yep.
I mean, when we had, just an example, we had a huge, our neighbor had this massive forest. It's old. It was all getting, it couldn't grow anymore. It was stifled. So they had logging come in and clean it up. So what happened was, and when they clean it up, it means it's going to grow. But in the process, we had this massive windstorm come through. All these beautiful, massive trees, big trees, mind you, beautiful, along the roadside, they all fell because they had grown up in a very easy place. No, nothing to test their strength, nothing to cause them to think, oh, I need to put my roots in deep. Now they're like, nah, this is easy. It's shallow. I got this. I got all the other supporting trees. I don't need to worry about being supported myself. When those other trees disappeared, these big trees had no roots. And the wind just knocked it right over. It didn't take much. Massive trees. You think, man, these guys have deep roots. Nah, they just got rooted up because they had nothing to, in their maturing years, nothing to challenge them to grow strong in the ground. And so when their cover was removed, it didn't take much to blow them down. So growing up an easy street is not going to build character, as we talk about, that will give you the strength to be what you need to be, to become who you're supposed to be for the Father. So Father provides the storms as a way for you to grow and mature, to be a tree standing by a river where the birds of the air come in. You become the support. You become the fruit for the nations. You become the covering because you have endured the storm, the test of time that allows you to dig deep and to become the character that he is intended to be for creation. It still sucks, man. It absolutely sucks. And some trauma, like, I'd rather take this. Can I choose door A versus door B, please? Because I really hate that option. Sometimes you get that option. Other times,
I mean,
like,
that's the
nah,
whole
man,
reason.
you gotta go through that door. I have something on the other side that I gotta build in you. So you gotta go through that door.
Maybe
All right.
that's why the tree was in the garden. Maybe that's why the tree was in the garden. You wouldn't willingly choose this. But I can tell you right now, I wouldn't choose a windfall a year ago over who I am today. I can say that with real confidence. And maybe it's easier to say that now that we have some relief from the pressure. Yeah, it's easier, but it's a good time for self-evaluation. I wouldn't trade it. I wouldn't trade it. Even though I was optimistic in the first part of last year, man, I was optimistic and hopeful and confident, and then that was tested. And it would have been better if we had had the windfall last year. Sure. I don't think anybody would argue that. I wouldn't. But I wouldn't trade who I am now for a lottery win last August. Like, I can say that.
And when you
But I don't think I could have said that a year ago. I don't. No, I wouldn't have. In fact, that's different. Like, I wouldn't have. So what does that look like for me prophetically going forward? Okay, I don't want to choose pain, but I trust him that anything that comes along, I want to be better for it. Oof. That's bold, man. I feel it in my own gut to say that because there's part of me inside that just diarrhea, like, just let go, thinking of what could happen. Like, you know what you're asking for? No, I'm not asking for any of that. I am saying I trust him.
But right
Then I
there's
know I'll
the
be
key.
better.
Right there's the key. So that ties into when you die to yourself. If you think about it, well, you die daily. really what you're saying is, I'm dying to anything that I think of what I might know, what I've learned, the relationship I have. I'm dying daily. And all I know is, regardless of what my eyes see here in this natural realm, I'm going to trust you. And I've made that decision. I went through that journey 6 months ago because there was still, like you said, and then but when you keep pressing in, and the way in is enters gates with thanksgiving and courts with praise, and you just step in and then just get up and look for things and revisit the thankfulness is, it's a being obviously, but very powerful. But yeah, that and then it's like, so now your brethren, we look over your shoulder and we look into me, you're modeling what overcoming looks like. See, you would look back self-critically and say, yeah, but I did this, I really didn't believe that, I didn't trust him here, I didn't okay,
Yeah,
welcome,
sure, I did.
welcome to the family. But there was something about journeying together when you would sound off about your circumstances, and we kept encouraging, we kept them believing, and we wanted you, are you making good decisions, what are you doing? There's accountability, there's all of that stuff, even in spite of all that, and here you are. And then to see like a breakup, something broke up, nice, boom.
Yeah.
And I mean, how many times have we gone through stuff and this is how he shows up? I keep saying it, like from New, it's like Tom Brady, the last 2 minutes. And I know we're getting to the top of the hour, but dude, you've overcome. Yeah, you've overcome. And I don't think this was a test. Like, this wasn't a unique withhold something from the family so you can overcome some type of a test. As you're journeying the journey, you're making choices and decisions, and Yahweh has got to be working all things together for good to give you the most possible path for you to make those good decisions. And good, there's the stick-to-itiveness of your love for your family. Very, very obvious. You're doting on your daughter, your wife, and that is love overcomes a multitude of missing the mark. And so you would have to deliberately, in my opinion, make just dumbass choices over and over again to not get over the goal line. So I think it's fantastic. It's encouraging to us on the team to see that you're selling.
Totally.
It's important for all of us. That's why we need to share each other's stories. What's going, like last week, and Jackie and Lisa are out there. Just love Jackie. Just hearing it's just powerful. Like,
dude, was that beautiful or what?
Just being real.
Just
we got you. Yeah, you got it. You're gonna get through this. It's that energy of just unity and love and all that. It's like a big schmug and a hug. So good job.
Right in the middle of the mess.
Good job, bro. Keep taking out your trash every day.
Right, man. It's good.
Isn't that good?
It's good.
And that's it, man. Just take out your trash every day. Love big, love. Practice loving big. And with that,
that's prophecy. I get
it. What's Mama got to say? Give us the good word. Give us the frequency, Mama.
I'm good.
God, I was gonna get
Next show, we'll give you the whole show. You could speak the whole time.
No use trying to say something now.
Well, we don't have to stop at the top of the hour.
Right. Well, you got your own show tomorrow. So
that's true. That's right. That's right. Well,
yeah.
I guess that's it. Till next week.
What do we got going on, guys? We got River Sound tomorrow.
River Sound tomorrow.
11
ATS
o'clock
Voices
Central.
tomorrow.
Yeah, what's the plan for tomorrow? Tina, you got anything, any secrets?
I don't. We're probably going to talk about killing our body.
That's
Good topic.
Ourselves.
More
Working
good
on
stuff.
that, what we can do
More good stuff.
to bring that forward. Yeah.
Love it.
All right. Look
All
forward.
right. Stay in the way. Stay in the path.
Yeah.
Hey, we hitting Enoch again? I'm probably not going to be there, but
Enoch.
we hit
Yep.
Enoch, or we are.
Yep.
Ooh, reading from the Apocrypha. Ooh.
Ooh.
Lions and tigers and bears. Oh, well.
I'm telling you, it's crazy how that book makes so much of what's going on in the world make sense.
Yeah.
There's been so much clarity, like, okay, I get it. I see that. Okay. All right. It makes sense. It's
We're
been
still
really powerful.
recording? We still live?
I am. We are still live, but we're heading
All right.
off right now. So shalom,
Hugs and
everybody.
kisses. Go hug somebody. Go love somebody.